invited to have a little chat about our connection and our journey through to the region by the beautiful Melissa here in Babinda. How did we meet?
So my memory of us meeting was at High Spirits on the facilitator and leadership training. And then I remember having a conversation with you and you'd forgotten all about it and had remembered that I was a facilitator on one of your courses.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were sleeping in the bed next to me.
Which I have no memory of.
Yeah, right. It was a challenging level though, that one. Level 4, pushing us to all of our different limits at High Spirits, learning the Kahuna Bodywork. So that's our main connection, isn't it? Our passion for sharing the conscious touch of the Kahuna and also more recently the Lomi Lomi Heartworks, which is a beautiful healing modality, all of its own. Yeah.
Yeah, and for those who don't know anything about Kahuna Bodywork or the Heartworks Lomi Lomi, these are integrated and comprehensive healing systems that come out of Hawaii. So I've been practicing since 2004. I had an accelerated journey of learning levels 1 through 5, and we teach 7 at High Spirits in about 2 months. Yeah. And then I stepped into my world of bodywork that I was already practicing, removed everything that I had already learnt and became a soul Kahuna bodyworker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Beautiful. So my journey with Kahuna has been about 3 years, and we talk about High Spirits. High Spirits is the retreat where we learn the bodywork down in the Sunshine Coast in the beautiful hills of Kinkin. We've got 14 acres of lush land, so blessed to be able to learn there. So my journey started about 3 years ago. I did want to do the facilitation because I wanted to work on retreats, and a friend of mine said, you've just got to go and learn the bodywork. And wow. So what I discovered in that part of the journey is that it's actually about the personal development, and that's what really sets aside the bodywork that we do and that we share from other types of massage as such. So the work really starts within. We embody the philosophy, we bring it into our lives and into the sessions that we share, and really get to understand more about ourselves and why we would share it. And that's what drives the passion to share it.
Yeah, which is what drove our passion to get in our car and our van and travel north, avoiding the southern winter and bringing ourselves up to the Far North Queensland.
Yeah.
So we've been up here about 2 weeks
now. 2 weeks, and we've just finished running our first Heartworks Lomi Lomi course in Cairns. We had 7 beautiful humans, beautiful beings, join us in the space for 4 days, learning not just the technique, but also embodying, again, the philosophy, the way of life, the how and the why we would share, and then the personal journey as well within that little 4 days that we were in our little cocoon in Cairns.
So Heartworks Lomi Lomi is all about bringing the heart energy into our hands and bringing healing into that space, healing body, mind and spirit. It's something that we share with, you can share with clients, but you can also share that with family and friends. It's a great practice to use with parents, with children and loved ones, with each other.
Yeah. So I suppose if we go back to our passion for not just giving the body work, but also to share it far and wide, is that sometimes people don't know their own abilities and their own healing touch. So they might just come along to learn it, to share within family networks and to share with friends, or maybe just to learn something new. And what we find that can blossom out of that through the connections with what we call our ohana. So when you learn the kahuna and you learn the lomi lomi, you join the family, which we call the ohana. And from there, potentially transforming and changing what they're doing in their lives with their work, and they shift over into completely embodying everything that they can possibly learn about the traditional healing, and where they can take their own skills and aloha and share. So huge transformations come out of learning this bodywork, because it is so much more than the strokes on the body. In fact, it's not really the strokes on the body, is it? It's actually the expansion that comes with that.
Yeah, it is so much more than a massage. It is an integrated healing system. You learn a philosophy that you can integrate into any of the other philosophy you might have within your life and your life space. And then the other thing to consider is that word ohana. Ohana isn't just people. Ohana is spaces. It's the rocks, it's the river, it's the water in the river, it's the ocean, it's the beings in the ocean. Ohana is completely comprehensive.
Yeah.
And so within the context of us and our connection, ohana, we bring it into the people that we meet, the people that we share with, the people that we meet on our journeys.
So that's probably why we chose to come up to Far North Queensland, is that there's a huge community of ohana up here, but there's also so much abundance that aligns with the work. And so my journey up here was probably about 18 months ago, and I started to just feel the call to head north. I just kept hearing about the little gems that are up here. The weather, I absolutely love the warmer weather, so we've escaped the winter. And had my first inquiry up here, and from that I wasn't quite sure what would bring me up here next or what I could share. I was looking at retreats and things like that, but then we made our connection, or we'd been connected, but the connection developed as I moved from learning the bodywork, so working up the levels, doing the facilitation, and then integrating that back at High Spirits from a facilitator point of view. And that's when our friendship and relationship in the working space developed, and we thought, okay, we can actually work together in this space and we can take it places.
Yeah, and I have a greater vision, as bold as it might be, to ensure that the Kahuna bodywork and the Heartworks Lomi Lomi continue being practiced in out to 150 years. So if that never happens, that's okay. However, I realized at some point, if it's going to happen, someone has to do that. And I realized, well, that's me. And I can't do that by myself. So I need a team. So then I met Lorin, and it was like, oh, we can work together. So that process started. And when Lorin said she was coming north and running away from the winter, I was like, oh, great, because now I've got someone I can go north with. My first journey here up to the Cairns area was about 8 years ago with a boyfriend, and we were planting trees up in the Daintree. We were working with a not-for-profit organisation. We came up about 8 times in probably about 2.5 years, and so my love for the Daintree started. And when that relationship ended, I had this moment of, oh, the relationship's ended, maybe the journey to the Daintree has ended. So the very next time I had a friend say, let's go to the Daintree and check out a house to buy and run retreats from, I was right up for that. And that was about 2.5 years ago. So I came and reframed my experience with the Daintree, claimed it as my own, and then I've come back a couple of times since. So it made sense to come north with Lorin and teach the Heartworks Lomi Lomi.
Yeah. And I think one of the important things to take from sharing of your journey is that everything's about timing. So we might have a vision, and then it's really fascinating how it actually unfolds and who it unfolds with and what that actually grows from and into. So here we are doing the Lomi Lomi in Cairns and anywhere, Far North Queensland, or actually anywhere in Australia. From doing this course now, we've decided that, or thought that, to be able to share it far and wide, we need to make it accessible to everyone who wants to learn. And therefore, if we can take ourselves to locations where people want to learn, we just need to have small, intimate groups, and we stay very humble about that. And we just want to share so that people can carry on the work. So being adaptable and moving around in this phase that we're in of how you can just jump in your van and live the simple life and really enjoy the journey and be open to so many connections and finding the beauty that really is around the whole region here.
Mm. And then awareness of through travelling through country. So the last 13, 14 years I've been down in the Byron Bay Shire, practicing and living in Bundjalung country, and then moved up to Kin into the Gubbi Gubbi country. Vibrant Majunji country. Last week we were up in the Daintree walking creeks and swimming in the streams and eating Daintree ice cream. Lots of Daintree ice cream.
Yeah. And we found that we made so many connections up there just from if there was one person walking past us on the beach. You'd be like, hey, what are you doing here? What's your story? What, where have you come from? And making those little steps, like little stones through the creek, and how everything is interweaved and how things return back. And simply by making those connections and saying, well, might not be in this moment, but we'll remember this connection that we'll be able to come back to. And so you begin to weave the web of connection.
Yeah, being fearless in that space. You might be walking, we often walk in the spaces in the city, no contact, no eye contact.
Yeah.
And yet here are three people walking on the beach, make contact. Hi, how are you? This is my name. We're introducing, we're connecting, and all of a sudden we have a shared experience.
Yeah. And the cup is filled just from having that really authentic connection, that presence with someone. I think that's what we really found in the Daintree. We felt that we'd been up there for weeks and we were up there for 3 days. Mm-hmm. Really stepping away from the noise.
And finding welcome in those spaces. That was the other thing that really fell in for me. I could go into a space. There was actually a sign on one building, or one property that said, inspection welcome. That's what it said, inspection welcome. And so many other places had do not enter, residents only. And so I walked into the inspection welcome and I was welcomed by this gentleman into the space.
We went into a retreat and the owner was just out the front. And initially I thought, oh, what's going to happen here? And I think we spent 2 hours in there walking 5 acres of land. And he was just so proud as punch to show us what he had done there. And I was like, here we are in the Daintree. We didn't know who this person was. And we were finding all of these beautiful gems just through being approachable and approaching and sharing what we were there for. And he was like, well, this is what I have. And we're like, can we see it? He was like, sure.
Let me show you.
And there was another, I'm going to say connection, but also that the moment in time that we were there, that we were on our travels, we're like, this is what we're doing just in this moment. Mm-hmm. And in the next moment, it's so exciting to know, what could we be doing in that moment simply through connecting?
Yeah, stopping and saying hello.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So going back to just the Lomi Lomi Heartworks, another reason why I want to share it is that we probably can agree that there's just a lack of physical touch. Everyone's, we think about what we actually need. Is it 9 hugs a day at 30 seconds a hug or something like that?
20 seconds to allow the oxytocin to be released from within your body. So if you're a 2-second hugger or someone who doesn't hug at all, you potentially could be in touch deficit.
Yeah.
And that oxytocin is what truly fills our cup and helps us to feel connected with one another.
Yeah, and connected to yourself.
Yeah.
Because we can talk about connection on so many different layers, like the layers of an onion.
But the deeper connection is with oneself first.
Yeah. And we find that, so when we do Kahuna and the Lomi Lomi, is educating a beautiful receiver the importance of receiving. Because you can get a massage or have a massage or be on a massage table, but how can you really receive what is there on offer?
Mm-hmm. And as the giver, it's not just about giving, it's not laying your hands on and doing that practice. Within the giving, you're also receiving. So that heartfelt energy is in that constant ebb and flow of giving is receiving and receiving is giving.
Yeah. So we are giving. We would like it to be received. So that's a really important focus. Yeah.
So what are a few of the other gems that you found in your journey here north?
The Babinda boulders. Been exploring some of those beautiful opportunities just to sit and be with nature, just running streams and creeks and opportunities to be still in what's moving around us, which is essentially what's always happening anyways, but just in a way that we can be more connected to ourselves and to observe nature, to regulate. Yeah, I'd say there just feels like there's so much abundance. So driving around in the van, I'm always looking for places where I can buy local produce, and across the tablelands. There's been so much abundance just to pick up along the way, and the taste and the exchange.
Fruits that you don't actually find as you travel further down south, the east coast of Australia. Those tropical fruits that require the warmth that is up here.
Yeah. So all those experiences have just been so enriching. Yeah. There really is a lot on offer if you take the time and the effort to step away from the everyday of what you may be doing and throw something to the wind and give something new a go. You'll always be provided for.
Yeah, and to be aware that you may not have any service with your phones here. You end up driving down the road and it drops out, or you could end up in a slightly isolated situation with no service, no coverage, and allowing that to drop in and then allow that connection. There's other connections. So sitting in the creek with the river running, the water moving around, the bugs, the moths, the dragonflies. Apparently there are blue bees here as well. I was quite intrigued to find them along my way, and just to sit and watch and listen to nature in its absolute glory.
It's been quite a smooth ride, hasn't it?
It has.
It's been allowed to be. We've had a lot to do, but there's been the ebbs and flows of it. Feels aligned.
Feels aligned. And then also having other ohana who have come from down south that we spent a little bit of time with. Sharing
lots of free
food.
Camping. I did free camping in a beautiful space tonight here in Babinda. So I just can't wait to have grass underneath the van and step out in the morning onto that dewy feeling with my feet and be immersed and chill.
You have hot showers there, hey?
I actually prefer cold showers. I can count the number of hot showers I've had in the last month, and I feel I get warmer after a cold shower. It's like, hang on, it's that little bit of that test, and to be, it's okay. Cold showers are good too. I've got nice fresh hair from a cold shower. So needs are met. There's so much abundance. If we actually just trust and we actually follow the intuition of the guidance, you say, well, I might not know what I'm doing after the next 3 weeks, but it's going to be exciting because I'm going to continue on with my faith of just meeting new people and the how many amazing, genuine people there are. I've really found that in the region here. Yeah, 100%.
Yep.
Everyone loves living here.
They do love living here.
Yeah, a lot of people you speak to, they'll be like, we wouldn't live anywhere else, or often the conversation is, how long have you been here? Specifically up in Port Douglas, 30 years. This is our conversation yesterday. But you wouldn't live anywhere else, would you? No.
No. Even through the cyclones.
They do with the heat. Yeah.
Even through the heat.
Yeah. Yeah. They truly feel blessed. And so they're living their best life.
So we're going to be living our best life out of the Shire, out of the Far North Queensland, and heading back to Kinkin to run our next Kahuna Level 1 and 2, where we'll be co-facilitating and sharing the journey of Kahuna Bodywork.
Thanks for the connection, Neikah.
Thank you
We're
for the
doing a good
connection
thing.
and introducing me to Melissa.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful. Thank you, Melissa.
Mahalo.
Mahalo.
You can find me at Neikah Verlinden on Instagram and Facebook.
Myself, Hanai Wellness, that's Hanai Wellness, on Instagram, Facebook, and .com.au for the website.
And Lorin and I are running Heartworks Lomi Lomi, Australia-wide.
Find both of us at High Spirits Retreat in Kin Kin on the Sunshine Coast, facilitating the Kahuna Bodywork.